If you're not calculating profits, who is? This is Alex Buriak, and you're on The Drive, where I give you advice, tips, and strategies to help grow your business and give you some key concepts to help keep you out of trouble. All right, so today in investment real estate, we're going to talk about profit margins. A lot of times people will put offers on properties, whether they're for rental or flip or even wholesale, and they don't acquire the knowledge for the key variable, profits. All right, so they'll make broad assessments on purchase price without considering profit margins. Now, a lot of you guys have heard the quick equation of 70% minus repairs is top purchase price that you should do. And that's an okay quick analysis, okay? You had to make an offer, and you had to make an offer now. That is a very quick way of finding out what you can offer. Now, if you offer 70% minus the repair amount and the real repair amount as your top purchase price, what that's going to give you is about a 15% return on investment, okay, within about 6 months, okay? So if you did 65% minus repairs, it's about a 20% return, and so on, okay? What that doesn't give you is all your other variables, okay? So if you had to make a quick offer, you can use that, but this is how you really do it, okay? First, you take your after repaired value, all right, and you find out what type of debt strategy you're using. Let's say you're using hard money, and let's say your lender's lending 70% loan to value, but there's no loan to cost, like when you're going to jet. You can start using, okay, how much money do I have to pay back? So let's call simple math, $200,000 ARV times 70% is $140,000 total loan. All right, so when you have now the total loan, subtract the repair amount, call it, for easy math, call it 40 grand, okay? So 140,000 subtracted by 40 is 100,000 that the lender is going to advance at closing, okay? So if your lender's advancing 100,000, if you bought it for 110,000, you're out of pocket 10 grand plus closing costs. If you bought it for $90,000, your lender's covering $10,000 with closing costs. Most likely that's a $0 out of pocket deal. The reason why we're going over this math is first you have to equate, am I out of pocket at closing, and for how much? Because you have to pay yourself back when you pay off the loan. You have to pay any dollars out of your pocket to get your net return. All right, a lot of people go off of gross return, and that's, to me, almost useless, because net is what you keep. So, all right, so I have that number. So I know my out-of-pocket expenses that I have to pay back, okay? Next, I look on my comparables and I equate a days on market. And the days on market start when you list the property. So let's say you had 90 days on market, okay? Then you calculate on the $40,000 in repairs with your GC or your subs or whatever you're using, how long is that going to take to repair? Understanding any kind of permit process or anything like that you need to do. What is the all-in net time to repair? What is the average days on market? So if it was 6 months, for our education purposes, you have to calculate 6 months of monthly payments that you have to pay yourself back to, okay? You have to calculate 6 months of utilities, 6 months of HOA dues if you are paying monthly HOAs, 6% agent commissions when you sell the property. The second closing cost when you sell the property, because it is usually customary that the seller pays the second closing cost. You have to calculate any out-of-pocket costs at your initial closing. And if you're doing any seller's contributions. So you pay in your loan back of $140. You're paying yourself back your out-of-pocket costs. You're paying yourself back 6 months of interest payments. You're paying yourself back the second closing cost. You're paying yourself back 6 months of commissions to your agents. You're paying yourself back any HOA commissions. You're paying yourself back any seller's contributions. All of those numbers times the amount of time you're holding it equates to a dollar amount. So 140 plus all of that. Subtract your ARV and that's your profit. So when you are going through this, like let's say you're like, Alex, I don't know what the utility cost is. For a small house, call it under 2,000 square feet or so, call it $100 a month. For a big house, call it $2. Because you'll need AC running when the floors are in and the paint's up and the drywall's up and all that kind of stuff like that. You'll have to have electricity and gas when the appliances come in and for the subs to use their tools and all those things. Okay? So when you are looking at a project, calculate your all-in costs, and any dollars out of pocket that you do, you have to pay yourself back. Now, I get a lot of this. Alex, I'm an agent, and I list my own properties. One, I think that's probably a mistake, because you're not giving 100% effort if you're a volume investor to your property. But even if you were, to me, you being a real estate agent is a different business. You'll have X% profit in one business, X% loss in another. Okay, so I mean, that's, to me, it's a little bit of a wash for that. But I still want you to calculate that cost, because you're actually paying yourself in another business. So that is how you calculate profit margins through all the data that you're doing. So sure, you can kind of ballpark a 70% minus repairs equates to a 15% return on investment. I've seen it more like a 13.88, but let's round it up to 15. 65% minus repairs is usually your $0 out-of-pocket deals. Equates to about a 20% return. But a lot of people throw percentages out there, but they don't understand the actual dollar amount. So does that equate to the profits you need to stay in business? And that allows you to make the understanding if you can offer whatever you're offering for this property. So profit margins are really important to understand in any business. If you chose your inventory as real estate investing, buying distressed assets, whether it's for flip or rental, you have to understand that equation. You have to understand your all-in costs to your lender and to yourself. And you'll be much happier with the returns you're getting when you're in a property. Talk to you later.